teaching you how to recognize some notes on the A string and which fingers you're going to use to play them. So I'm going to start by showing you a little piece of music and we're going to go through it, we're going to name the notes, and then we're going to talk about how to play them on the violin, and then we're going to actually do some work with our violin. Okay, here we go. So we have a piece of music on our screen. It says warm-ups, and this is all going to be on our A string. Now, how do I know that? Well, I'm going to look at the very first note I see. That's right here. And we're going to use face to figure out the name of this note right here. So when we use face, we need to start in the first space. This is F, A, C, E. And our note here is in the second space, so it's F, A. This will be A. So every note you see that's in the second space on the staff, that's all going to be A. So I'm going to go ahead and just write that in for us. So this is an A. Oops, we'll try that again. There's an A. Let's see if there are any more A's. I'm just going to follow this space. Oh, there's one. And here's another one. Okay. So we have 3 A's in this piece. Now, on our violin, that's going to be our open A string. That A specifically will always be the open A, and it sounds like this. Okay, so let's look at these notes. Are they going up or are they going down? So we have an A here. Oh, that looks like it's one step higher, one step higher, one step higher. So I'm going to go and draw a long upward arrow, meaning that every note we play is going to be just a little bit higher than the next one. So if this is A, and we need to go one step higher, we're going to think about our music alphabet. What is one step higher than A? Or what's the next letter after A? Just one step. So this is going to be a B. Okay. So if this is B, and we are going one step higher than B, it's going to be a C. Now, is that going to be just C, or is it going to be C sharp? Well, for us, this is going to be a C sharp because you see our sharp symbol here, which is turning that into a C sharp. And it'll sound like this. All right, and this is what it would sound like if it wasn't sharp, if it was a C natural. And this is the sound we want. Okay, so this is a C sharp, and when we're writing it on our music like this, the sharp goes after the letter, and if you're writing it on the staff, sorry, that's not really working great. Let me just try this again. This might look a little messy. There, that's going to be my sharp for now. Okay, so this is C sharp, and then we have a note that comes right one step higher than C, so one step after C in the alphabet, and that's going to be D. And that looks a little bit like a P, but that's all right. Okay, so that actually follows our alphabet pretty close. A, B, C, D, but this is a C sharp. So now let's look at our next measure. So in this one, we're starting on the same note as we ended here. So this is a D. Now, Are we still going up or are we going down? This one looks to me like we are going down. So I'm going to draw an arrow. There we go. So this is D. Now we're going to go backwards. If this is D and we're going one step lower than D, this is going to be C. So again, thinking about that alphabet, I'm going to write it right here really quick. A, B, C, D. That's not a great E. Let's try that again. E, F, G. Now after G, we have to start at A again. B, C, D, E, F, and G. So we only ever use those 7 letters in the alphabet and it starts over. So this is A, and we're going to go one step higher than A. So one step higher than A is B. Okay, so now, oh, sorry, I started in the wrong measure. I'm going to go back here. So let's start here. This is our D. There it is. We're going one step lower than D. So one step backward. That equals C. Now we're on C. And we're going to go one step lower. So one step backward from C equals B. And then we know that this is A already, but just in case, we're going to start on B, go one step lower. That's our A. Okay, and again, we know that this is going to be a C sharp. And that's really ugly, but that's the best we can do for now. Okay, so now here we're starting on A again. And oh, looks like we're going up. So this is A, B, C sharp, because our key signature has all those sharps in there. D, D. All right, and this is just gonna stay the same here. Okay, so those are all the notes on our A string. So now that we know the names of the notes, now we're going to talk about how we play them on the violin. And that's where this little graph comes into play. So our A, and I'm going to change my color, blue. So A is always open. So I'm going to write a little 0. And that didn't change my color. So let's try that again. Okay. There it is. So A0 means that it's going to be open string. Now, if this is 0 and we're going one step higher, this is going to be our first finger, or A1. All right, so if this is 1, and this is one step higher than 1, this is going to be 2. And it's on the A string, so it'll be A2. Okay, this is our second finger. We're going one step higher, so this would be 3. And because it's on our A string, it is now A3. Okay, and now we're just going to go backwards. So D is A3, one step lower, A2, A1, open A. Open A, A1, A2, A3, and A3 again. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what that looks like on the violin. Okay, so on our violin we have 4 strings. Our A string is going to be our second string all the way to the right of the instrument. So when we have our violin up like this, it's going to be all right here. So this is E, that's our highest string. Then this is A, D, and G. So in our exercise today, we only looked at notes on the A string, so right here. Okay, so in my previous video, I talked about how to hold the violin and then also the correct shape for your left hand. So go ahead and find that. Remember, you want the space here, you want our fingerboard lining up in this crease, and we want to use boxy fingers. So in our piece, we are starting on an open A. We don't have strings on our box violin, so we have to kind of imagine that they're there, but the biggest thing here is to get our fingers moving correctly. So our open A is just open A string. Now our next note is a B. And remember, we said that to play B, it's going to be A1. And that means first finger, this is your first finger here, on the A string. So you're going to put your first finger on the very first tape. Okay, so the one that's closest to the end of your paint stick or your scroll. Okay, so it's right here. Okay, so that's B. Now we're going to play C sharp. C sharp, like we said in our music there, is A2, so your second finger. Now that means our second finger is going to go on the second tape. And make sure that your fingers are nice and boxy. We want these flat knuckles here. Okay, so our second finger on the E string is C sharp, right on the tape. After C sharp, we have D. How are we going to play D? It's only one step higher than C sharp. So I'm not going to take a finger off because that would make me go a step lower. I need to go a step higher. So I'm going to use my third finger and I'm going to put it on my third tape. All right, so that's our first measure and it's going to sound like this. A, B, C sharp, D. Now I'm in my second measure and my first note there is D, which is A3. So I'm already here. I didn't take any of my fingers off. They're all 3 on the tape. So that's D. Now the next note is a C sharp, and that means I have to go lower. How many steps lower though? Between D and C sharp. It's only one step lower. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to take my third finger off, like that. And it's going to play C sharp. Now I have to go another step lower to B, so I'm going to just take my second finger off, take that C sharp off. Then open A, all my fingers are up. Alright, so I'm going to play those first 2 measures for you. A, B, C sharp, D, D, C sharp, B, A. Now I'm going to say it with my fingers. Open A, A1, A2, A3, A3, A2, A1, open A. Now this is really, really important, grade 2s. When you're putting your fingers down, it's important that you're not lifting the finger that came before. Alright, so just watch my fingers again really, really closely. if I play A, there's no fingers down, A1, now I'm going to play A2. Look at how A1 is still on the tape. It hasn't moved. Okay, A2, A3. Look at all these fingers are still down. And the reason that we do that is so that when we go back down, the fingers are right there on the note they're supposed to be. If you're lifting them, it's so much more work, it's harder, and you're not guaranteed to play the correct note. Okay, so I'm going to look at the third measure here, and that's starting on an open A. Then it goes to B, so that's A1. C sharp, which is A2, right on the second tape. D, which is A3, right on the third tape. And then we have a half note. All right, there we go. So those are the first 4 notes on the A string. And that's really all we're going to be doing. We're only playing with the tapes right now on the A string. And I know you can see this tape here, this 4th tape. That is technically an open string note up here. It's the same note as that, but we're not going to be using that for a while. So let's play that together. We're going to go really slow. First time through, I'm going to say the names of the notes. The next time, I'm going to say the fingers. And I'd like you to try this with me. Remember, keeping your space, I don't know if you can see that, the space between my thumb and my hand here. Maybe that's yeah, there we go. You can see a little window. You can put your finger through there. And your fingers, if you want to, actually, this is I just thought about this now. A really good thing to do to make sure that your fingers are pointing the right way, if you draw with a pen a little smiley face on your first 3 fingers, I don't know if you can see that, like that. And then you put them on your violin, and you want your fingers to be smiling at you. Can you see that? All right, so you want to see those smiley faces coming towards you. So here we go. Let's do from the beginning, starting on our open A string. And can you say the names of the notes out loud with me? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and A, B, C sharp, D, D, C sharp, B, A, B, C sharp, D, D, off. Awesome. Okay, now let's try just saying the fingers. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and open A, A1, A2, A3, A3, A2, A1, open A, A1, A2, A3, A3. Beautiful. Okay, so those are the notes on the A string. We're only using our first 3 fingers, making sure that we can see the smiley faces coming towards us. Awesome. So next time we will work on notes on the D string. Happy practicing, everyone.